next question is from Councillor Girling and relates to town centre partnerships as well. Councillor Girling, in view of the length of the preamble to your question and the inclusion of a table of figures, would you please only read the actual questions as set out in the last two paragraphs of your request? The full wording of your request will be published in the minutes of this meeting. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I think to everyone that is a welcome relief. Obviously my questions are towards Councillor Waller, and I would like to know, can the portfolio holder confirm that after spending in excess of £75,000 of taxpayers' money, quoting from previous minutes of other meetings, on drafting the Loughton Broadway Parking Review, the scheme will continue with an agreed timeline for implementation?
Chairman, some members will recall that there was a Cabinet meeting on the 25th of October 2010 when there was a remaining budget of £520,000 available for these parking reviews. Since that time, work has continued on the Epping post-implementation review, and at the conclusion of that review, it's estimated that the budget remaining will be in the order of £370,000. The Buckhurst Hill and Broadway reviews will have to be undertaken within that remaining budget, but until such time as the scope of the review is confirmed, I'm unable to state unequivocally what resources will be available to undertake the review at the Broadway. Once the position at Buckhurst Hill is clear, I'll be able to provide the member with information on how we might proceed at Loughton Broadway.
You want to come back?
Thank you. And has the portfolio holder considered any other way of expediting the Loughton Broadway Parking Review, bearing in mind the high-raised stated manpower limitation?
Already, until such time as the scope of Buckhurst Hill review is known, I'll be unable to consider how best to proceed with the review at the Broadway. But I can assure the member that if the financial circumstances allow me to commence the Broadway review earlier, then I will do so.
Come back.
Thank you, Chair. Because of the volume of money that's been spent on Epping to date, and they've had two bites of the cherry, can we guarantee that we are at least going to keep some money in reserve for Loughton Broadway?
Indeed, very encouraging that there's such a lot of interest in the activities of the Council that fall within my responsibilities. And indeed, I'm very sure that when we come to the Loughton Broadway review, which I hope won't be too far off, Councillor Girling's knowledge and experience as a professional highways engineer will stand his residents in good stead. Well, although it's Essex County Council which is responsible for implementing parking restrictions, this council believed in 2010, and I believe that it still does believe, that it's in the interests of our residents to have restrictions which work for them and which also produce a reasonable balance between the interests of residents, traders and commuters. And therefore that's the reason why we set aside this money, which I think is not the case with other districts in Essex. What I will say is that I'm determined that we should stretch the money out and make it go further. In particular, as some members may be aware, a very large part of the cost of these parking reviews is actually advertising.
He didn't actually mention any of that.
Well over £200,000 has been spent just on advertising because of the
because I came back to him and reminded him of our meeting, he then gave a longer response.
Simplified, and therefore we should in future be able to spend considerably less, which will also save some money. And as far as Buckhurst Hill is concerned, because it's going to be a targeted review rather than the wide-scale reviews which have occurred in the past, which didn't produce the desired results and made just as many people unhappy as made people happy, because it's going to be a simplified review implementing the more targeted requirements that should please more people. I think we can do it for less money, and I'm determined that we will still have money left over which is sufficient to ensure we have an adequate review in Loughton Broadway as well. And I'm sure that I'll be able to work closely with Councillor Girling to achieve that end.
Thank you.